David in North Carolina, science and mysticism, how can terms overlap and differences in their focuses? Ben, do you want to let's have you start this off, because
okay.
maybe I might hang up on this one. So no.
Hey,
David, how you doing?
Hey, JMike. Hey, Ben, how you doing? I've enjoyed the show. I've got a short list. The intelligence in our, quote, intelligent design is machine learning done from the ground up by a little molecule through natural selection. It's very smart in some ways, really dumb in other ways, but that's the measure of the intelligence that went into our, quote, design.
So I'll push back on that. I don't think that there's any learning done by molecules. I think they happen to be in the right place at the right time, and whether or not that's coincidental is something that would need to be demonstrated. Is that the main point of your question, or?
No, what I was going to say, but machine learning is a computer programming term, and it's about organizing information. And the process of natural selection is just machine learning. Every bit of our machine learning works the exact same way. Mutation, trying it out, you know?
So, I think that these might be comparable, but I'm hesitant to say that it's the same mechanism, especially if I'm not a computer scientist. So of course I don't know much about computer coding, but I'm hesitant to follow the logic of implying that molecular interactions or that genetics are analogous to computer code.
I am not willing to make the leap into the astral belief myself. I do suppose that it is, at its roots, still fundamentally an allegorical way of referring to it.
It's fundamentally what?
I suppose that this machine learning is still an allegory, because I too would not make the leap into the belief in the astral realm.
I guess it's strange. It's strange though. It's like, because you can draw analogies on a lot of things, right? And you identify something in common or some property in common, and then distinguish based on there. But I guess I'm confused, because with coding or something, like people do DNA and code. In order for it to be a one-to-one, the analogy has to imply a coder in that case. But using the analogy of code in a different way, absent that, might be okay in educational senses. I guess I'm just not.
Machine learning codes without us coding it. That's the key feature of it.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a programming major. I got that. I'm just not understanding what the analogy can imply for you.
You seem to be, and I suppose I can understand, guarding that I'm trying to sneak in some theist premise when.
No, I'm not. I figured there was a reason for it, and that's.
Well,
I guess I'm just confused about what the question is.
Yeah, I hear you. I didn't pose a question.
No, not. Go ahead.
I suppose I was just belting out my comment to a previous caller. I was going to talk with you guys about the religion I was raised in, and I'm just unsure if religion is a proper term for it anymore, because it holds no tenets. It's a huge religion. Sant Mat. Have you ever heard of Sant Mat? Buddhists, Hindus, Sikhs, Jains. There are more Sant Mat than there are Jews in the world.
Not familiar.
No. Okay.
It's also kind of it's also kind of hard for me. Some words it's hard for me to pick up on my end, but that's the call quality. So
I'll try to be more conscious of that as I talk. Thanks for letting me know.
Tell us a little bit about this.
When I was a little kid, it embraced religious terminology, but by the time I was in my 20s, there was a real shedding of religiosity, to the point where now I almost feel like I'm mislabeling it when I tell you what I was taught this is called as a kid, you know? But have you heard of Sam Harris talk about mindfulness meditation?
A little bit. I really don't follow a lot of what Sam Harris does outside of like the morality thing, and that's really because I don't really agree with his take on it. But so I'm not that I don't. I'm just not really familiar.
I'm not a big fan of his politically, but speaking about mindfulness meditation, it's when he talks about mindfulness meditations, he never says anything speculative. It's all thoroughly grounded in 40 years of cognitive science research, you know?
Sure, yeah.
The same methods were introduced to me as a kid in totally mystical kind of language. As transcendental meditation on the holy breath, the holy name, which is the breath, which you know, the guru was the great kind of teacher about the techniques, the methodology. We had the big three was a satsang, service, and meditation. My dad used to say, because my dad was more of an atheist, he used to say, the meditation is doing service is good for you as a person.
Is there any way we can? Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, David. I want to see if there's a way we can streamline this because I got other callers. What's the main gist here?
The main gist was telling you about the religion I was raised in.
No, I know, but what I'm saying.
What my question was, but.
Yeah, I know. I guess I'm getting lost and I'm not really tracking.
Well, the religion I'm describing being raised in was used those terms, but had no objectively theistic beliefs, no magical beliefs, no supernatural beliefs, except maybe the prevalence of the belief in reincarnation. But I always took that in, which is a very traditional way to take it, that it's just kind of invoking the original position premise or original position morality, you know, veil morality, you know.
As in like a result of actions you do? Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, that's a key feature that's very like no note on is to think that there's any kind of a one-to-one in the entanglement of dharma and trying to make wise choices to not cause suffering in others and in oneself.
Yeah, that area I'm really, I wouldn't have much to be able to speak on. I don't know if Ben, if you have anything.
I mean, not really. I mean, it sounds like mysticism, and I wonder if you were trying to talk about if it's technically a religion, even if it doesn't imply theism or something. I mean, from what you kind of talked about,
it's chosen to not be a religion, and it shed its religiosity. Now, mindfulness meditation is not referred to as transcendental meditation. Maharaji got rid of the divine light mission, and now he calls himself a motivational speaker. You know, nothing's changed, but all the terms have changed. You know.
I mean, it sounds like it's updating to be more, you know, up to date with what we know. So maybe, I mean, sure, maybe it's not a religion.
It's one of the world's biggest populated religions. There's more Sanmat than there are Jews in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Do you think that there are still spiritual influences in this, or do you think they're completely separating themselves from the spiritual?
Spiritual can be a tricky term. From the supernatural and from any supernatural beliefs, certainly. I remember one of the last satsang discussions that with the videotaped of the guru I saw was him kind of not begging, that's overly dramatizing, but trying to coax his devotees to give up fantasy life, that reality is good enough.
Okay, so it sounds like they've moved from a place where they were incorrect about things, and now they're moving into being more applicable. So I think I don't know if I have a problem with that necessarily, but I don't know the full story of this organization and what they're doing and what they're teaching people.
Yeah, that's
so.
kind of my.
Well, they're
it's
not
hard
even
to comment
anymore. They disbanded their organization.
So that's the thing, is it's kind of hard to follow on some of that without some information. But Dave, no, we appreciate it. We're gonna try to get all these callers in if we can. But we do appreciate your call.